When people talk about war, they often remember battles, weapons, generals, and frontline maps. But there's another side of war, dark, intimate, almost invisible. The side where heroism lives next to pain and love survives in the shadow of death. This story happened in the small Russian town of Rylsk, hidden among the hills and rivers of the Kursk region, right in the heart of the Great Patriotic War. In 1942, the Germans entered Rylsk. They came quietly, as if to a city that had already surrendered. People hid in their basements, didn't open shutters, were afraid to even whisper. Time itself seemed frozen.
And one day, a young girl approached the German commandant's office, thin, with neatly braided hair and clear blue eyes. Her name was Masha Vasilyeva, just 18 years old, freshly graduated from school. When a soldier at the gate asked what she wanted, Masha replied firmly. She knew German and could be useful. The officer looked at her with a strange curiosity. The next day, she was already working as a translator at the commandant's office. The news spread through the town like fire through dry grass. People whispered behind her back, "She's a traitor. Sold herself to the fascists. Disgrace." Her mother stopped going outside. Even her friends turned away. In a small town, there are no secrets, and every morning when Masha walked down the street in her neat translator's uniform, eyes followed her. Cold, judging, merciless. But Masha stayed silent. She knew exactly why she was doing this. Before the Germans arrived, Masha had made contact with a partisan group hiding in the nearby forests. She offered to help. She knew the German language, could listen, copy orders, gather information. "Are you sure, girl?" the partisan commander asked through a messenger. "I'm sure," she said. Now, sitting at her desk in the commandant's office, she translated reports, letters, and communications, memorizing everything that could matter. And at night, when the city fell silent, she left her house, walked through the dark streets, and hid folded notes inside the hollow of an old tree. That's where the partisans would find them. So she lived between two worlds, between fear and duty. One day, a new officer arrived at the commandant's office, Lieutenant Otto Adam. He was young, tall, with tired eyes and neatly combed hair. Unlike the others, he didn't shout, didn't humiliate, didn't hit prisoners. He simply obeyed orders. But there was something in his eyes, a quiet, buried sorrow. From their first meeting, he noticed her composure, her calm tone, her gaze that showed neither fear nor submission. It all unsettled him. In the evenings, he found excuses to stay late, just to exchange a few words with her. Meanwhile, the town sank deeper into despair. The Germans carried out raids, interrogations, executions. Masha translated the interrogations. She saw everything, the blood, the cries, the pleading. Sometimes she wanted to scream, but she knew, one wrong word, one shadow of doubt, and not only she, but dozens of partisans would die. One evening, as Masha was trying to secretly remove a few papers, the door opened suddenly. Otto stood there, a candle in his hand, his expression unreadable. He saw what she was doing and could destroy her in a single breath. But instead, he whispered, "Why are you doing this, Masha?" She stayed silent. "You work for them," he said quietly, glancing toward the forest, "for those we call the enemy." "And you," she replied, "do you even know who you're fighting for?" The words hit him like a slap. He sat down, covered his face with his hands, and after a long silence, began to speak. About his father and brother, both communists, arrested when Hitler came to power. About how he joined the army to save his own life. Since then, he had lived as a stranger in his own uniform. From that night on, something changed. They were bound by a secret more dangerous than any bullet. Masha continued her mission, and Otto began to help her. He brought maps, plans, documents, even ammunition. He risked everything. At first, the partisans didn't believe her. A German helping them? Impossible. But when Otto's information helped stop a German punitive raid, their doubts vanished. He became one of them. Months passed. Their connection deepened, like a quiet flame that refused to die. They met in hidden alleys, in ruined houses, under the fading light of dusk. Otto spoke broken Russian. Masha laughed softly, correcting his words. He learned to say, "I love you, I believe, home." But war doesn't forgive love. One day, the commandant's office received an order, an internal investigation. A traitor was among the officers. Documents missing, rumors spreading, command furious. Otto knew their time was over. That night, he came to Masha. Rain was falling outside. He said, "They know. We have 1 hour, then it's over." Masha took the papers, put on her coat, and together they disappeared, into the forest, wearing German uniforms. When they reached the partisans, Masha pleaded for him. "He's one of us. He helped me."
The commander was silent for a long time, then said, "If you lie, we'll shoot you both. If it's true, you'll fight together." And so Otto became a partisan. He translated German documents, repaired weapons, helped plan ambushes. In the camp, they were known as the bride and groom. At night, by the fire, he'd take out a small photo, Masha, taken before the war. "When it's over," he said, "I'll stay here. I'll never go back to Germany." But few wars end with happiness. In the spring of 1943, their unit was surrounded. Artillery first, then infantry. The forest shook. Explosions tore the ground apart. Ostapov and Masha fought side by side. He covered her until his last bullet was gone. When the battle fell silent, the forest was burning. Masha sat against a tree, breathing heavily, blood on her lips. Otto knelt beside her, took her hand. "I love you," he said softly, in broken Russian. "I know," she whispered. They died together, side by side. Later, the survivors buried them beneath that same tree. On its bark, they carved with a knife, "Masha and Otto, 1943. Weeks later, the Germans announced a reward for anyone who found them. That's when Masha's mother finally learned the truth. The town that once spat on her daughter's name now whispered it with pride. Years passed. People in Rylsk still tell this story, passed down from their grandparents. They say that in the old forest, the tree still stands. The inscription has faded, barely visible under the moss, but if you look closely, you can still read their names. And those who see it swear they can feel something, a faint echo, a breath of those who once lived and loved. Because even in the darkness of war, love burns brighter than hate, and sometimes it is the only light that keeps history alive, even for just one fleeting mortal moment.